Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for another week here at EKKLESIA. For today we have a devotional style video. Last month we tried it out and we got a lot of good feedback, and so we would love to hear your guys' responses, what you think of this week's service video. Let us know down in the comments because we love to read it and engage with you guys. Now for the devotional style video for this week, we have guest speaker JC Carreon, or most commonly known as JC. JC and I have been friends for years. We met up in Escondido where we were in high school together. And then later on in life, we went to the same college, did music together. Then after that, we, for whatever reason, ended up in the same area in Southern California again. And we have now been doing ministry together. JC's part of our leadership team at EKKLESIA. And it's just been so cool to see his growth as a Christian, as a believer throughout the years. We've encouraged one another, prayed for one another, lifted each other up throughout our lives. And I'm so excited to see him give today's devotional topic for today. I hope that you guys are going to be blessed by this. I think you will be. JC's a great communicator and someone who just has natural charisma and has a heart for serving God. Enjoy this, and I'll see you soon. God bless.
Hey everyone, my name is JC Carreon, and I am one of the mission coordinators over at EKKLESIA. Welcome to this devotional. The title of this is Walk, Don't Run. Okay, so before we get into it, let's just pray. I like to pray before anytime I open up the Word, and let's just pray. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for everything that you've given us. And I pray that as we move on to the new year, that you will be with us even still. Lord, please just use me as a tool and as a vessel to move through. And I pray that you be with everyone today and whenever they're hearing this, Lord, but just please be with us all. In your name we pray, amen. Okay, so three words. The year 2020. You don't have to say a lot when you say those three words. You kind of, when someone says it, the year 2020, you kind of get a feeling already, right? It's an attitude of maybe of how we all feel. It can be a couple things, maybe the term negative comes to you, or maybe the word wasted, like wasted time comes to you. There's a lot of different things that, come to mind. Maybe the word isolation. But this year has been hard, and not only for ourselves, but for everyone around the world. I can only speak for myself, but when 2020 was supposed to be the year that changed it all, and I feel like a lot of times that conversation is, being had, like 2020, that was the year that things were happening for me. It was going to be the year that things turned around, or just things were starting to build up, right? And yeah, maybe that's how it felt for a lot of people. For me, it meant a lot of different things, like starting school up again after an 8-year gap. I was working on personal goals such as writing more music. I was trying to accomplish a lot of things, and I can envision myself. I remember when it was December 31st, 2019, moving into January 1st, 2020. I kind of envisioned myself as a marathon runner, and as a person who's about to embark on this incredible race. And for anyone who's ever ran a marathon, it's an incredible feat. And so I kind of envisioned myself as this runner, right? Soon as it was going to be January 1st, 2020, boom, I'd be off running and I'd begin my year. Well, it started off like that. I moved out of my house. I moved into the dorms again, which I wasn't too thrilled about, but it was a good experience. I had a great roommate. And I was doing well in school. I mean, I was killing it. Like, I was taking no prisoners. When I had first started school, I was kind of like mediocre about everything, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So that created a chain of basically just goofing off. And so I was doing really well, and I was just hungry and ready for the next quarter, and things were starting to finish, and I was finishing the quarter off strong, the winter quarter in January. And then I remember there was talks about a pandemic happening. We had an assembly in school, and they brought us into the business center I go to La Sierra University, and my roommate and I were walking down, and as we were walking down, he was telling me, like, I fully expect us to be, and we had only about like 2 weeks left of school. He said, I fully expect us to not be in school for the next 2 weeks. They're gonna dismiss us. And I was like, no, it's not gonna reach us. It's all the way out there. It seems like over there, just like in Europe and all these different places. And but then, sure enough, he called it, and then within like a day or two, they evacuated all the dormant students. So I was in a position where I had to now leave, and I couldn't get back on campus. Anyways, I had to leave and everything, and I had to get my own place, and it was just a different environment. They said the rest of the stuff was going to be online, and we were introduced to Zoom. Zoom. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I want to change gears for a sec. Every night when we go to sleep, I feel like we all pretty much do the same thing, where we kind of review the day that we've had, right? We kind of started off like, we kind of just, as we're about to go to sleep, we kind of think about everything that happened throughout the day, and whether it be good or bad or negative or positive, it's just, we kind of like go throughout the day. And it's very human nature for us to kind of focus on the stuff that wasn't accomplished, or maybe the negative aspects of that day, versus the things that maybe were good and were positive. And it feels like right now in 2020, as we kind of are reaching the end of the year, we're kind of doing the same thing, right? We are reviewing our year, right? As December 31st comes around, we kind of are looking at the year in hindsight. And the year 2020 to me is a year that I feel opens up a lot of clarity for a lot of things. And they say that, hindsight is 2020. Well, we're looking back right now at 2020, and there's a lot of things that we can see are definitely clear. There's been turmoil in the United States. There's been a lot of different things around the world, but it's opened our eyes, right? And if it hasn't been opened yet, it'll happen. But what I want to focus on here is that as we are reviewing our year 2020, just like Spotify reviews our music, we get to this point, and there are some things that we wish we could do again. We wish that we could apologize for. We wish we could just avoid altogether. But to every good thing that happened, there's always positives. I want us to turn now to the Bible, to John chapter 11, and I'm going to read verses 1 through 7. Now a man named Lazarus was sick. He was from Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. This Mary, whose brother Lazarus now lay sick, was the same one who poured perfume on the Lord and wiped his feet with her hair. A little bit of a spoiler for the end of John there. So the sisters sent word to Jesus, Lord, the one you love is sick. When he heard this, Jesus said, this sickness will not end in death. No, it is for God's glory, so that God's Son may be glorified through it. Now Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. So when he heard that Lazarus was sick, he stayed where he was 2 more days. And then he said to his disciples, let us go back to Judea. Now, every time I read the story, I feel like I learn something new. This time when I read it, I started thinking about the new year coming. And again, New Year's always feel like we're lining up, like we're starting to run a marathon, right? Where we have these new ideas and resolutions for ourselves to change ourselves for the better. And that's all great. That's fantastic. That's good. But I like to think that if we were all standing at a starting line, and you know how marathons, well, if you don't know how marathons work, they usually work in waves, right? So you got a group of people that start, another group behind them, another group, and it kind of goes like that. So right, here we are. Everyone is lined up. They're all ready for the new year. The whole world is ready to start another race, another year. And as we are all lined up, we've got everything set up. But I like to imagine, I started thinking about this. Where would Jesus be? If we are all lining up, where would Jesus be? Would he be the announcer? Would he be the guy that shoots the gun to start us off? Would he be cheering us on at the finish line? Would he be cheering us on the side? What would he be doing? And I like to think that as we are all lining up and we're all ready to go, here comes this guy in the back. And he's kind of taking his time, but he's also pushing his way forward. And as he's pushing his way forward, he's kind of turning heads because of the way that he's dressed. I like to imagine that he's wearing a t-shirt, and he's got some jeans on, and he's got some sandals on that you can see that they have some miles on them. He's got a headband on, and he has a fanny pack. He's just enjoying it. And he's kind of pushing his way through, and he's kind of like, excuse me. Hi, nice to see you, excuse me. And as he gets to the front, everyone's kind of looking at him because he's not dressed like the way that you're supposed to be dressed when you're running a marathon. No. He's not, unlike us who we're wearing our new shoes, our new Nikes that we got for Christmas. We have our iPhones where we've got our playlists, and we have our headphones in, and we're already either jamming to the playlist that we made for the marathon, or we're about to start jamming as we start running. We've got our running shorts and our really nice apparel, right? We're ready to go. And he is dressed for leisure. And as the gun fires, everyone takes off. And he doesn't. He walks instead. And he's admiring the beauty around him. He talks with a group of people, maybe on the side. He talks to the announcer. Maybe asks him, hey, how long have you been doing this? I don't know. He chats it up with the people who are cheering, And in the year, how many times have we done something where we feel like we tripped up or we messed up, right? So let's imagine that, we're running the race and something happens in the year, in this next coming year, that trips us up, that kind of stops us in our tracks. And we're kind of just like, we've maybe like hit something, we skinned our knee, we're falling down. And as we're sitting there on the ground, kind of like recuperating or trying to get up, Jesus walks up, and he's just been walking, and he's been helping up people on the way, right? And it's your turn, and he helps you in that moment where you've fallen down, and he picks you up, goes to his fanny pack, which by the way says WWJD, and he pulls out a Band-Aid, and he helps you. He heals you. He gets you up. He has one arm, and he's kind of put it over his shoulder, and he's kind of helping you, right? And he's walking you to the nearest water station where people are handing out cups of water so you can kind of replenish yourself. And as you're getting there, to the water, he is giving you advice. He's telling you where to go. He is saying, hey, make sure your shoes are tied this time. I don't want you to fall again. But if you do, don't worry. I'm right behind you. Don't worry about it. So as he's giving you advice, he's saying, hey, go this way. This is a better angle for you, or this is more your terrain. I've seen your running pattern. As I've seen you run, this is you. Try and go in this route. And don't worry about falling because I'm right behind you. And so he gets you to the water, and you take your cup of water, you drink it, and he says, okay, here you go. Good luck. You're on your way. I want to come back to the John 11. I'm going to skip over to now verse 38. Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a stone laid across the entrance. Take away the stone, he said. But Lord, said Martha, the sister of the dead man, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there for 4 days. Then Jesus said, did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you will always hear me. But I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me. When he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, take off the grave clothes and let him go. So while everyone wanted to rush Jesus to Lazarus, Jesus did the opposite. He stayed 2 days in the town that was far away. And when he got to Lazarus' home, they told him that if he would have just gotten there a little bit sooner, this would not have happened. Jesus is unfazed. He knows what he's doing. When they tell them that there will be a bad odor because he's been there for 4 days, he's unfazed. He knows what he will smell. And when he raises him from the dead, he asks God to be with him as he reveals his glory so that they will see that God sent him. Then he tells the family to remove his grave clothes, and he says, let him go. Let him go. He's free from death. He was sleeping. So, as we are approaching the finish line of a race where we have twisted our ankles, skinned our knees, tripped on, untied shoelaces, this year 2020 has been hard. I invite you to look behind you. Jesus is right there. He's got his fanny pack ready with the Rite Aid, and he'll lead you to water because right now you look dehydrated. And if you don't care about your finishing time, then I also invite you to talk with him. He gives great advice. He invites you to walk and not run into 2021. That does it for this week's devotional. Once again, I just want to pray. Let's just pray with you all, okay? Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for your awesome power. Thank you for always just being right behind us, Lord, with exactly what we need. Lord, I pray that you be with all of us as we are finishing up this year, finishing up school, finishing up work, finishing up a lot of different things, Lord. Help us to walk with you in 2021. And Lord, I just pray that you be with all your people, Lord, all around the world. Help them to feel your presence and to feel your comfort. And Lord, just please come soon. In your name we pray, amen. Well, once again, I'm JC, and I have been doing this devotional for EKKLESIA. You can find us on all our social media platforms, and that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. But if you go to ekklesia.org, you will be able to find it there. All right, guys, have a great end of the year. Have a great weekend. I don't know when you're going to watch this, but just have a great day. And I sincerely hope and I pray that you will find God's comfort in any time and when you need him. He's right there behind you. Have a great one, guys.
You made it to the end of the video. Thanks for sticking around. That was such a warm and inviting message. Thank you, JC. I felt right at home with the lights, the Christmas tree. All I was missing was my little abuelita's hot chocolate at the end there. But seriously, such a great devotional. I hope that you were blessed, whoever is watching. As you can see here, we're getting ready ourselves for the Christmas season. We've got our lights set up in the back. But we want to thank you again for joining us. If you like this message, you can follow us on our social media platforms. We're on a ton of them. And if you want to go to our website, the link is down in the description below. There's also a link for giving. Now, I just wanted to say one last word on JC's devotional message. And that is so true. That throughout this year, a lot of us have gotten some new bruises, have maybe stumbled a little bit, nicked and fallen down. But I want to just remind you and encourage you that the scriptures say that his love is everlasting. Those things are temporary. This year is temporary. This season of your life is temporary, but his love is everlasting. Take your time, walk, don't run. I hope that you were blessed again by this week's message. And without further ado, I hope you have a great rest of your week and stay confident in him. Take care.